Hari Om Vasudevan ji, Hari Om Dr. Poonam ji, Hari Om, Hari Om ji, Hari Om Rajshri ji, Namaste. Yes, we have a couple of minutes. If anybody has any queries, anything you wish to look at, we can look at the same, or we'll just wait for a couple of minutes and then start. We are into the 17th Adhyaya of the Gita. We have stopped at Shloka number 16. Hari Om Gita ji, Hari Om Savitri ji.
Hari Om. Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Hari Om ji. Hari Om. Yes, we'll start in a minute. Hari Om Mamta ji. Alright, I think we can now begin with the invocation. Those of you who can turn on your video feeds, please do turn on. Hari Om. Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambham Karishyami Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yadkrupatamaham Vande Paramananda Madhavam Vasudevam Sutam Devam Kamsachanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagatgurum. Om Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. So, yes, we are now entering into the second part of the 17th Adhyay. Can anybody recollect something that we saw last? Yes, please. Anything? Yes, please. Our link is so that our link is established.
Hari Om ji.
Hari Om ji, Hari Om Sunita ji.
Hari Om ji.
Hari Om Madhvi ji. Yes, please.
So,
Ji.
may I say?
Yes, please. Yes, Dr.
Okay.
Poonam ji.
Okay, so the Arjun asked about Shritha. Those who don't follow any rituals or any prescribed laws of doing puja or yajna or tapa, but they have Shritha and they do it. So whether it is sattvic, rajasi or tamasic.
What is
then
that
Krishna,
nature?
yes. Then Krishna, Lord says, then he explains about 3 types of Shritha. And in that continuation, he says there are persons who do ghor tap and they give
Torture to the body.
troubles here to their bodies and even to me, who is inside the body.
Yeah.
Who resides inside the body, so he is also troubled or he also gets the pain out of that, but that is not required.
The right way. Ji.
Yeah. Then he says, even yajna, dana,
Tapa.
tapa. All these have 3 types of things.
Yeah.
And then he explains about bhojan.
Okay.
What is sattvika, rajasic, and tamasic.
Ji.
And then
in these 3 bhojan, in this bhojan, does he mention whether it is a type of food or what does he mention about sattvic food, rajasic food and tamas? Yes.
The sattvic food is which helps to increase ayu, shakti,
balam,
swasthya,
arogya.
Arogya,
Okay.
and it is full of ras,
yes.
snigdha.
Yes, see. So.
Right? And then tamasic is katva,
yeah.
salty.
No, that is rajasic is salty.
That is rajasic.
Yes.
Rajasic is
Tikshna.
full of
yes.
tikha,
yeah.
mukha.
Yes. Dehydrating.
Tamasic.
Yes.
And it produces
anxiety
shock and bad health.
Anxiety and other problems. And that is a modern nutritional psychiatry also talks about the same thing. Ji. Yes.
And then tamasic food is which is basi, which has not
fermented
good
and
flavor.
And
Yes,
rotting
yes,
also.
and rotting.
Yes, yes.
That is tamasic. And then he says uh,
But does
about
Krishna say Rajasic food is good or Sattvic food is good or Tamasic? Does he Krishna?
no,
He just tells
no.
this is
He
the
said
nature.
those
He just
tamasic people love this food.
Rajasic will have this.
Rajasic,
Yeah, he is not
yes,
even worrying about telling what is good and not. If Krishna is not telling that, I think we also need
the,
not go on preaching which is good food, which is not good food. People have their nature. As long as that nature is
yes.
there, they will eat that type of food. That is one thing we have seen. Yes, please. Ji, ji.
And then he tells about tapa.
Tapa.
So he said, what is sharirik tap?
Ma-
Then
Vang tapa. Yeah.
vani ka tap,
Yes.
or then
And Manas.
manasik tap.
Yes, 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 yeah, perfectly summarized. Thank you, Punamji. All the other shlokas, all 16 shlokas have been very perfectly summarized. So, yes, we saw about the tapa, three types of tapas. Normally, we know Rajas, Tamas, and Sattva are three types everywhere, but these are three subtypes. It looks like Krishna has introduced in Tapashcharya. Probably Tapashcharya has three dimensions. It is not only one dimension. A person is brilliant while meditating. The moment meditation is over, this person is like from Deva, he becomes Asura. What's the use of such a meditation? Some people are very calm and peaceful. If somebody sees them from outside, they say, what a beautiful Shanti Sagar is there. But when the moment the meditation is over, it is a volcano. Children run away, other people run away. This fear, everything. What has happened? Where is that quietude? Something of that sort. Tapa is having three dimensions. One is a Sharirik Tapa. This includes the seva that is done. Krishna has also told Pragnya Pujanam, Guru Seva. This was there in the previous adhyayas as well. So, identifying a spiritual master, identifying a guru, identifying some greater, and if we have elders in our home, even doing their seva, we can understand it as a tapa. We do not know how much debt we have to repay. This is called runa. We have so much runa. The moment we are born, we are in debt to so many people. Right from you go to the from the doctors to the nurses to the others, everyone you just go on, and it goes on to parents, and the runa is also towards our pitars, towards our dharti also. So much we have to repay. Instead, we start performing as a tapa, Shariri tapa, service. That is why a lot of people engage in service also. Some of the brilliant heads of top executives and general managers also suddenly go to some place incognito, or people don't know who they are. They just take a broomstick and they start cleaning. So in the process, they clean the dirt there, yes, but they also clean the dirt on the inside. Sharira tapa helps in cleansing of a personality. That is why a lot of people engage in it. So that is one Sharira tapa. One, it is something which must be done by all. That is one thing. Krishna is actually Yagnya, Dana, Tapa. All three are important, irrespective of our profession. In our profession, we will do some work. We get something in return for it, for what we do. But apart from that also, we have some duties which we can try to fulfill. It need not be one particular way only. Sometimes a profession keeps a person so busy, the person does not, feels I cannot do anything. But of course, there's no reason, that is the only reason. You can, when you're going on your way to work, somebody needs a little help. What is there in life giving a helping hand? You cannot say, I am going there and helping somebody else, so I cannot help. There is sometimes somebody is injured. You can always take your hand out and understand that you have a role to play. Sharira Tapa must be performed. It helps a change physically when you serve also. It creates a great change, inner change also happens. That is why in Gurukuls, children used to be, they were sent to Gurukuls by parents. That so many years, parents would send their most dearest, the apples of their eyes, they would send them away to Gurukuls. Why? In the Gurukul, through Sharir Tap also, other tapas would also take place, and then what one Loha Purush would come out of that great Yagni of that Yagna which is taking place. So that is one, Sharir Tapa. Then is the Tapa of the speech, penance of speech. Now, penance of speech, this is so important. We do not understand the power of our own words. We underestimate the power of our own words, and the day we don't value our own words, we feel I am speaking like this, I don't care what I speak. That's a problem, because that day you are going to not trust your own words. When you don't trust your own words, who will trust you is the biggest question. And words have a power, they can be Sanjeevani also. The words can become the mantras of transformation. It is in Ekek Aksharam Pumsam Mahapataka Nashanam. It is something like that. One Akshara has the power. So it is for somebody who is doing the Tapashcharya. a word of this person will have a transformatory effect. If you just look at it, people also who use their words too casually, are they respected? Or do their words carry any weightage? Oh, this person has said. Another person just has to say one line, but he has said that line, so it happens. Like if you see Prime Minister says, clean the city. And then everybody in Indore have taken up Swachh Bharat will become the best cleanest city in India. Now somebody, I go and say clean the city to somebody on the road, they will not listen at all. Because the person who is speaking, how is the person, what is the status of the person? So with our Vani, when we do that tapasya, then there is a great elevation of consciousness also. Words, we need not waste our spiritual energy also in gossip. It's an unnecessary dissipation of consciousness with unnecessary words. Use them like you are using, you are holding on to money. Sometimes people are very careful, they don't want to spend extra 1 rupee also anywhere else. Why not use that with words? They are more precious than money also. That is why it is this power of words, where why even there is a beautiful stotra where Agastya Muni prays Saraswati nrityatyu vachi me sada. He says, Goddess Saraswati, please dance at the tip of my tongue, is what he is asking. He is praying, that is the upasana. So that tongue should be pure, is it not? If we want the goddess to reside there. If we they say in Marathi, there is a saying. I remember one of my first batches, I was very unsure how I can talk about Purusha and Prakriti, because that concept was difficult for me. So Damliji said, you pray to Krishna. And he said, tell this mantra on the inside. Jivve vara baisare Govinda. Means, oh Govinda, please sit on my tongue. Do the work, please. And that is the way where when we try to do a sadhana, we try sincerely. Who knows? They say, Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim. This is a truth experience when there is krupa. But for krupa also, what words do you use? Sometimes avanam na janami, it's fine. I don't know sarjanam, all that is fine. But you cannot hide it. When in avana, you cannot say bye bye, I don't want you. And what will the divine? Divine goes away, then what can you do? So your words should not, it is something, people think one thing, their thoughts go in one direction, their heart says something else, and words speak something else. There's no oneness, and there's a wastage of it. There's no power in such an individual. When heart thinks one thing, mind thinks the third thing, and tongue speaks anything. Person has no control. So this is like Sharir Tapa, the Vani Tapa is important. Same is the case of Manas Tapa. How long can you carry something inside of your mind if it is wrong and still hide it from the world? You cannot hide it forever. It is going to come out. If your mind is cleansed, then that is the greatest temple. Shiva Manas Puja of Adi Shankaracharya is too beautiful. Just imagine the entire, he's describing everything. It's Ratnair Kalpitam Asanam Himajale Snanam Cha Divyam Bharam. So this beautiful, he's talking about how payasam is there, there is a beautiful studded vessel of different gems. Then he goes on, prana shariram gruham, this house is just the home for prana only. And he goes for pradakshina also everywhere. Now this is the way, I think in lockdown, if everybody had just chanted this, it would have helped them a lot, because they were missing going to these temples and getting the ashirvad. So here in your mind only create, the entire celebration is there. So that is most important thing we can say, mind also. So all three are important is what we see. But then which is the real, we know sattvic, we know rajasic, we know tamasic. So which of these three is sattvic is the question. What is Krishna? Why is Krishna adding subtypes? Is he again confusing Arjuna? Is now Arjuna is on track? Is Krishna trying to confuse him again? But let us see. Let us see. 17th shloka. श्रद्धया परया तप्तं तपस्त्रिविधं नरैः अफलाकांक्षिभिर्युक्तैः सात्विकं परिचक्षते. When the three penances are done together, it is a penance in sattva way altogether, performed with a faith that is highest, holding no fruitive aspirations, not even the slightest. So all three tapas, when they are done together, then only it is called a sattvic tapa. So sattvic tapa is not so easy. You have to do tapa of the mind, you have to do tapa of the vani, you have to do tapa of the sharira tapa also. All three are done only, then you are said to be engaging in sattvic tapa, and at the same time not having any other aspiration of returns. I speak nice words to one person not because that person should talk back to me. It is a business deal. This is not a business deal. This is a one-way street only. Doing service, doing physically also, not because I want something from someone. Even if you go to a Gurukul somewhere and you serve, don't go with the aspiration that I will get this from this. All right, you have aspiration for Brahma Vidya, but don't let that be the driving force for doing anything. You will again spoil your own tapa. The Sharira tapa, you don't need to pollute it with our own desires. Keep them away from it. Same as the Vani also, speech also. Speak nicely. So many ways have been told already. All three done together. What happens when they are done together is the question. What do you think when all three are done happens in an individual? Practically, how does that individual feel? Or is such a life a very boring life? What do you
I
think?
guess the person becomes more conscious.
Becomes more conscious. Okay.
Conscious,
Okay.
like, and also when it comes to speech, I read something very beautiful somewhere, which said that don't misuse your silence. Like, be silent as long as it is much. The words are much more important than the silence. So till that time, you keep
But
silent.
what words we use also is important. So if we know the
Yes,
right
I
words,
mean, we know the right. It has to be like the right. If it is like your silence is not that important at that particular moment, and you're really, really required to
but at
speak
that time we cannot have rajas.
consciously.
But we cannot have
Yes,
rajas
yes,
at
no.
that
It
time.
is also
We
it was
have to
basically related to the sattvic part of it,
sattvic part of it. Ji ji,
not the
yes.
rajasic. Like, very.
Yes,
So
yes.
the person becomes very, very conscious of when we
When
have
to
like
speak,
all
how
three.
much to speak, how much is
It's
required.
like giving
Hmm.
weightage to the all the aspects, and then like
Yes.
when we say that it is thinking, it'll not be like a thinking for a long time, but it'll be like a quick thinking,
Okay.
but making the
All
right
right, ji.
decision at
All
that
right,
time.
ji. Yes, yes, Deepti ji. Hari Om. So yes, this is one. What else do you think would happen? One is the becoming conscious. When all three are done, you are conscious of yourself. Yourself meaning not your outer self. You're conscious of your own inner self. There is something inside of you. You in that rays of consciousness.
And we can
Yeah.
also say that, as we say that, um, everybody, I mean, the divine resides in everybody. So we will be just aware of it. Like,
Become
there will be no buddhi bhedam, there will be no
okay. So
difference.
what
We're
we can
treating
say
as
Vasudevam Sarvamiti, maybe we may get that Sakshatkar also, is it not?
maybe,
When we
maybe,
raise our consciousness, is it not?
maybe,
All
and
right.
we're treating everybody
With
equally. Like, we're
respect,
not.
yes, yes.
There will be respect. There will be love,
We
empathy.
will
So the
respect everyone, including
every
ourselves. Sometimes we
yes,
disrespect ourselves most, and that's the biggest problem.
yes,
So yes,
we do.
yes,
We
yes,
treat ourselves very badly.
yes, yes, yes. So yes, see. All right. Anybody else wants to add to what Deepti ji has shared?
When
Ji.
your thought, word, and deed is one,
Ha.
you become Mahatma. And when
Okay.
your thought, word, deed is
Yes, yes.
different, you become Duratma.
Okay. Okay, so wonderful. Mahatma and Duratma, simple difference. There is oneness of thought, there's oneness of speech, there's oneness of word. All right. Yes, please, Milanji. Thank you so much. Dr. Poonamji, you were adding something.
I just said one word, that is Anand.
Ananda,
The
Ananda.
words are
Okay, he's going to be Trupta and Ananda. Yes, yes, yes. Indeed, indeed. There is so many experiences because you see, there is a great joy when your mind is thinking the same thing that your heart is speaking, and your heart is in union with the mind and your tongue also. So your mind is clear. You know everything. It is clear. You are confident also. You are in your own self. You don't worry. You are not going to be disturbed because what happens most of the time, your mind starts thinking something, heart thinks in another direction, and now both there is a tug of war going. One mind is saying one thing, heart is saying other thing, and in that tug of war the tongue gets confused and says the absolutely different thing. And then people sometimes go through their entire lives carrying these fights only going on all the time. Instead, it is okay, follow this penance of speech, speak what is in your heart, speak what is in your mind. How you speak it, maybe you can take a difference, you can understand desha kala paristhiti, but it need not be opposite or conflicting. That way at least you are clear on your in your consciousness. And when your consciousness is raised, so many experiences means they are galore, experiences galore. Ananda is one of the brilliant things which can be experienced. So many. That is what Tukaram was also. Brahmananda lagali tari kona dehate sambhari. Meaning, I have now got that feeling of Brahmananda. Now is going to take what is there. How do I take care of my body now? I am already in a different state of higher consciousness. So yes, that is one thing we see. All three together, that is the sattvic penance. But what is rajasic? Well, we'll see. सत्कारमान पूजार्थम तपोदम्भेन चैव यत् क्रियते तदिह प्रोक्तम rajasam chalamadruvam. So this is the rajasic tapa, with the penance that is performed outwardly, executed in pride, seeking a glory worldly, is rajas in nature and is primitive and cursory, yearning for adulation. It is unstable and temporary. So this is a penance which is done outwardly done, meaning I think we saw Rajasic Yagna. We just said the example of a person who does a Sattvic Yagna, even the next person in the next house may not know that this person has done a Yagna. But Rajasic is there's going to the entire society will know, next three societies will know this person is doing Yagna. There's a lot of outward display. That is exactly what this Rajasic Tapa is. Sometimes people chant, do japa. Some people do very quietly. Some people have the habit of showing they are doing japa. They want to show it to all. And I've seen in a stage also one person, now he's taken it to the higher level. He's gone to the stage as for a function. There he wants to, it is my japa, he wanted to show everyone he's doing the japa. On top of that, he says he doesn't want, it looks like he doesn't want any bad, evil eye to fall on his japa. So he covers it with a cloth and he is doing the same japa. Now, this is not what I'm trying to say is maybe there may be a sincerity and person may be doing it, but there are times when people do it on an outer perspective only. People should know I am this spiritual. Many times while people talk, also their eyes are darting. Who is looking at me? How I am looking while I am talking? How is my behavior? How am I looking? Am I sounding cool or am I not sounding? These are all unnecessary thoughts which cover a person with rajasic tendency. They are seeking an outward glory, seeking a pride. It is a very primitive way of tapa. It is very cursory also. It does not lead ahead, and it is adhrova, meaning it is not something that is firm. It is going to be stable. Just imagine if somebody is doing dhyana because he wants praise from others that look how this person is doing dhyana. How long will that person continue? As long as somebody is outside and watching. The moment everybody go away, then one eye will open, then both eyes will open, then this person will go around, and suddenly somebody is coming again, come back and sit. Because the aim is what? To get some kind of appreciation, to get some return. This kind is a very unstable one, is what Krishna is saying. It is temporary. Just imagine a yogi is doing some sadhana. He's standing on one foot. One more eye is open, searching for how people are looking at me or who is looking at me. How long will that yogi be able to do that? He will not be able to sustain. And also, nobody has a. Every time we worry about what other people think, other people keep thinking so many things, and nobody has got time in the world to just wait and observe us only all the time. So we waste our energies there. This is a rajasic type of tapa, is what Krishna is saying. But then there's a third type of tapa, which is the tamasic tapa. Well, again, like tamasic tapa, it's difficult to find any rhyme or reason in this tapa. What is the meaning? It is just pure tamas. Mudagrahenatmano yat pidaya kriyate tapaha parasyot sadhanartham va tat tamasam udahrutam. This is the example of tamas, Krishna says. The penance is, that is sought by a deluded person, by a person deluded, whose intellect has been by ignorance clouded, causing or concentrating with the intention to injure either to self or others, is a penance. In tamas for sure. Some types of tapas are done. No, I am going to do this japa so that that person is going to fail. Means the entire, it is not for respiration or progress of an individual. This is a tamasic type of tapa where a person is doing a particular tapasya with the intention to harm and either oneself or another. And why is this? This is because the mind is already clouded by ignorance. This is the danger of ignorance. Ignorance makes us do all the wrong things and we don't realize it. And this is a tapa which is done in pure ignorance. It is hurting others, but the person does not realize it, that it is wrong. The person goes on that path only. So that is why they say kripa is so important. The kripa of the divine to see the right path. Why they say satya dharmaya drishtaye. The very satya dharma is only not visible. Eyes have been provided to us, but we are not able to see. That is the problem of maya. That is the role of prakriti. So this is tamas. A person who is deluded, he is engaging in that. Let us go on. Then comes the dana. Three types of danas are there. दातव्यम इति यत्तानम दीयते नुपकारिणे deshe kale cha patre cha taddanam satvikam smrutam. An offering in sattva is said to be done, undertaken for the sake of offering, keeping expectations none. Precisely at the right place and moment, the offering is successful. To bring forth the betterment of the recipient, it is bountiful. So, this is what Krishna is saying. It is a sattvic offering, an offering that is done having no expectations, absolutely zero expectations, done correctly at the right place, at the right moment, and to the right person who is worthy of receiving the offering. Imagine you do a donation, you do it selflessly, but you do it to a terrorist organization. Can you expect the ED to not come at you? I have done such a selfless donation. Yes, if you do that, and what are you? Can you get any punya or labha if you at all you are thinking of some labha? You are only going to support a wrong force, is it not? Main problem here is what? Maybe expectation is not there, but the patra, is this person worthy of receiving it, has to be seen also. Sometimes we are giving in places where we are not meant to give also. What's the use? So become conscious where you are doing, because sometimes people, I want to give it, whatever happens it's okay, it's not in my hand after that. No, become conscious how much is required, where how much force is required, give that much only. Sometimes in organizations, when extra is given, then the organization goes astray also. Lot of funds come and suddenly organization's functioning changes completely because a lot of funds have come. Now maybe if the person is conscious, the person will know how much is required. The person will do a survey, a person will do a research, where is this money going, because ultimately money is also a manifestation of the physical form of goddess Lakshmi. Her work, when it is done in the right way, can spread prosperity, and sometimes even little bit dana also can bring about a great difference. That is a sattvic dana. Right place, and it is bountiful, it seems plenty. Sometimes in homes there is very little food also, but correctly all the guests come and somehow it is that food is sufficient and everybody enjoy it. The person who is cooking only is always worried. Now what is going to happen? Is it going to be less? Then when that happens, you can be conscious, you can be sure and confident that Ma Annapurna is there with you. Even little food also, you have done it in the right sattvic manner, and it has been offered in the perfect way to all the guests, and all the guests have felt the great ananda of participating. Well, that is exactly how it is. This is how a dana. You don't need to have money only to do donation also. Donation does not mean only by money. It is a spiritual force also which you can offer. Some words can also become donation. Simple words as well. There is Vidya Dana, also a type of donation. What you know you share, and it only grows when you share. It does not get lesser and lesser. So these are all different types of Sattvic Dana. It brings about a great transformation. Yes, Srinivasji. Yes, please.
The source of your dan,
Ha.
isn't it more important?
For whom is it
You have
important?
to acquire
Source
the
of dhan?
capacity. Yeah.
Source of dhan, in the sense, I didn't understand the question, Srinivasji.
Yeah, you are from where you have acquired the capacity to do donation.
Ha. Yeah.
That is also very important. If
Yes,
you have
yes.
acquired your capacity by doing some wrong things and then donating it for maybe a good cause also,
Hmm.
whether
Hmm,
that
hmm.
is a perfect done.
Acha, yes, okay, that's interesting. Nice question about the source of the dana. Where is the source coming from? From a Vedantic perspective, Isha Vasyamidam Sarvam, recognize all comes from the divine. I remember when my teacher had asked one question to his teacher, because that organization that time they were just starting, and then he had asked a similar question about the source. What if this politician is coming and giving donation for our spiritual work? Will we accept money from a politician? He may be using black money. That time his teacher just looked at him. He said, I'll wash that money and you use it for good work. It is not that sources, that person is just the madhyam. Consciously he may not take, but if we worry about where it is coming or what is coming, but that is the aspect which is for the recipient. No, if you can recognize it is from the divine and turn away, it's no problem. But again, who is it? Best example of a dan is where one person was giving donation, his eyes were only on the ground, it was looking like he's doing a wrong action. So one person, there's a nice dialogue between two kavis. One kavi asked this question to him. He says, what is this? Why are your eyes down? You are doing dana. Your eyes should be up when you are doing dana. What is this? You are looking down. He replies, देने वाला कोई और है, भेजे तो जो दिन रेन, log bharam hum par kare tako niche nain, meaning the person says this money is not mine, it has come from another source, I am capable of giving this donation, but look at these people, they are giving credit to me because he is attributing it to the divine. He says this is the source from which it has come, I am just being a nimitta matra, I am being a medium, and look at all the credit. So here the sattvic person does not take credit also for what is done. It is done without a simple action. What we can say is, now I know of this one particular experience, one special school where we worked and our NGO had an opportunity in around 2012. That was the first time, 2011 12, around that time it was the first time we got a chance. I got introduced to what special school is only that time. Till then I did not even know about what special schools were also. So there, a friend of mine was a physiotherapist, a senior school member. So he said, "Why don't we do something?" I said, "We want to do something." My Damliji had also told me that you do some. You are given a task, you do something. That is all he told. Do whatever you want. Some good has to be done. And funds, he said, "No, you arrange your own funds." He said, "That also you have to only generate. You do something." Is what the work he had given, and he had gone for some pilgrimage out of the city. Now I thought, now what? So I gathered a few friends. We got some 3,000 rupees or something, 3,500. I still remember that was the only money that all friends, we were just, some of us had just finished our college and nobody had started earning also. But somehow we pulled in this much. And then we found that school. It was like lucky that we found a school because their school has somebody who is connected to us. And he started describing what is required in the school and what can be done. And so a small painting competition was organized. For painting competition also you need so much expenditure, but one person said, no, I have one friend, his family is only having, they are Marwadis, they have the best, they'll give you the best rates which nobody will give you, I'll give you the painting material. We got some information from, and so what happened is so many people started joining, and all were doing it with the sattvic way only. They were all offering, everybody was doing, someone was doing Shramadan, someone was using their idea of putting something, what can be done. Slowly, we just with that small amount, we had a beautiful painting competition. We designed from our own pictures, which some children are capable of holding crayons. For them, we had crayons. Somebody else who could not, we got sketch. For some, they needed a help from the special educator, so we got paint. And we actually got the exact number of students, and we ensured that correctly that much amount is going in the right places. Plus, we had even money remaining for giving education material to the school for different classes where what was deficient. Some wanted some kind of soft sensory balls for playing and some other toys. All this went, and last minute they told us you have to do a cultural program also. Now all of this was okay, but now what cultural program are we going to do? We had 2 days in hand. So then around four of us, five of us had joined by then. So I went, come on, anybody would like to do something? Nobody was saying, what do you do? What should we do? I said, we have to do what we are good at. Let us become clowns. That is what I asked, who wants to make a fool of himself? Only two other friends came forward. And we did a very, what we can say, stupid drama. It is online also. We had put Batman, Ballman, Gunman. Very stupid drama which is having no logic. Non-verbal drama. One of you, two Tamil lines are there. Otherwise, everything is just non-verbal. But now what happened was on that day, a lot of people joined. Somehow the idea was something which connected people and people wanted to join. Some students came from mass communication department of university also. They had very good cameras, so they would took very good photos. And that drama turned out to be very funny. Children enjoyed the drama and a video was taken. That is all that happened. So the event got over that day. Now, a few days later, 2 weeks later, some other organization, which is a very big organization with a lot of funds, they conducted a competition, or not a competition, they conducted some event in that institute. All they bought was, they bought some 5 rupee biscuit packets for everybody, and they had a big banner. We had not even bothered to have a banner for us, but they had a big banner. They just gave a few biscuits while the cameras were clicking. The moment cameras stopped clicking, they actually gave my friend, who was a special educator there, they gave him, take it, give it, distribute now, and they all walked away. That is all they had done. And so if you see, nothing was remembered. But now this video which came to us, I showed it to Damleji after he came back, and he said, I want, this is brilliant, children are laughing to the jokes. This is wrong when people say they do not understand. With cerebral palsy, they are like vegetables, they don't understand. These are all wrong statements. He said, please speak to the school. I want to visit the school and I want to chant for the betterment of the children. That was all he told. Why, what? No, simply I just want to chant. And for 5 days, 6 days, 5 days actually, over 100 children. Damliji said, I want the children to be present with the special educators and parents. One parent must be present because they also, I understand, they go through a lot of strain in raising the children also. So for everybody, I just want to chant. Now, normally, if you see, it's a small action, but how is it bountiful? Today, that chanting has led to some therapy called Vedic Chants Intervention Program. Scientists are doing research on it. The Department of Biotechnology for last 6 years, they are for like trying to go into a detailed study, and we have been able to publish some papers also how Vedic chanting is a therapy for autism. So how it started off? It is just started off means what we don't understand how things start off. When it is sattvic, it is divine who works. We just have to become a medium. But when it is rajasic, there is a problem. So sattvic is, if you see desha, kala, patra, you become conscious. Any act which is done consciously, one need not even study a scripture whether it is a sattvic dana or rajasic dana, or whether what I am doing is sattvic or rajasic. Cultivate the right consciousness. You will automatically do as per the scripture only. You will be in that state. You will, whatever action you do, means your Shraddha will be sattvic, your Vani also will be sattvic, your thoughts will be sattvic. When you cultivate the consciousness of sattva inside, and the best way I think Krishna has given is Shraddha. With Shraddha, all is possible. Milanji wants to add something. Yes, please.
I would like to know what was the chant which Damliji did.
It is there online, Milanji. It's a combination of various mantras from Rig Veda also. There's some from Samveda also. Agni Sukta is there. There are different
Then,
Gayatri mantras. I'll share it probably online. It is
yeah,
there.
thank
Or
you, thank you.
Hari Om Ji, Hari Om. So
Yes,
yes,
actually, I want to add something here
yeah, yes, please.
when it comes to Dana. So I remember when I was like maybe in my primary or so, I don't, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
so during the monsoon time, around not, I mean, a little before or after that, I don't remember. I mean, so there used to be like 4 to 5 saints who used to come around the place where I used to stay. And every year, I don't know from where, but every year they used to come to our house.
Mm-hmm.
And because my grandma, she never let anybody go like without having food. So she used to say, "Okay, sit. I'll prepare food." And calmly they used to sit and wait. And all the basic food, like I mean,
Hmm.
it's not that she'll
Yeah,
just
yeah.
prepare
Yes,
everything.
yes.
A basic dal, roti,
Yeah, yeah.
sabzi, like
Okay.
this she used to give. And then they used to just come, have food, and go. And I mean, till my grandma could do, or I mean, they used to every year come. And then suddenly one day they stopped when my grandma's health started deteriorating.
Oh,
I don't know, but I mean, since that longest time I remember, every year it used to happen.
okay.
And they never used to go. I mean, as far as I know, because I mean, I used to say bye and say see off at the gate, and I used to see them going from that lane, never entering anybody's house. But every year they used to come,
Mm-hmm.
and that was a very for that 1 hour when this that was a very for me as I mean as a child
Peaceful.
also, I used to feel very happy, and I could see that. And my grandma never used to boast of about her, like never, even my sometime my dad also never used to know that okay, they have come.
Mm-hmm.
So that was and for her I could see the peace that she had every time.
Ji, ji, ji.
And I don't know how they used to come to our house. I mean,
Yes.
that is very mysterious for me till
Ji,
date.
ji. Ji, ji.
So but that was a very beautiful
All right.
experience.
Ji, ji. Yes, Deepti ji. So yes, I think this is the thing. And just as a receiver, the participant also can enjoy the participation of opportunity as long as there's no ahankar inside. The person is recognizing the source to be the divine. All faculties, intellectual faculties also, we cannot claim ourselves to be a holder of intellectual faculties. They are also a gift which we have received. Today it is there, tomorrow it may disappear. So why hold on to that? Just being in that state with the aim of betterment without wanting. Loka Sangraha probably can be the only aim we can have while doing such a dan, nothing more, and not I am doing the Loka Sangraha. May the Loka Sangraha happen, maybe through me, maybe not, but I will keep trying my attempts. That's a sattvic way. Srinivas wants to add? Alright, yes, please. After which we'll go to the next shloka. Yes, please.
See the penance part of donation.
Hmm.
Penance part of donation. That is whether that is possible if you donate,
Hmm.
as I said, out of say your bad earnings, and maybe the benefit goes to the recipient. But whether the penance part is
Means.
available for the donator. And secondly,
Hmm.
hello,
Yeah, I'm listening. I'm listening. Yeah.
yeah. And secondly, if you have excess of something,
Hmm.
if you have excess of something and that you give for a good cause,
Okay.
whether that is, yeah, this is whether that is that gives you the benefit of doing the act of donation.
Okay, all right, ji. Yes, Srinivas, ji, basically, this is one aspect which is probably it is debatable when we go on what is the source. But in the material aspect, yes, money helps. But I've seen one organization, another NGO for special school in on the outskirts of Nagpur. This school, the person who set it up, he is one of the directors. He would go personally home to home to connect donations from each person. Now the school has become a very big school. A lot of people come, celebrities come. He calls them also. They come, and then the media comes. They've made a lift now in the school. They've got those even buses donated. But for him, he still goes to those homes and collects for those who were donating. Even though he says, even if it costs me more to go to their homes, I go there, because for me that aspect that comes with it, that well wishes are so important. So here a person who has 10 lakhs, 100 or maybe a crore also, that person giving away 1 lakh, yes, it may have material value, of course money is to be respected, but when a person has only 4,000 rupees and he is giving all, say 3,500 and keeping 500, so there it brings about, and even the value of conversion. I know of my friend who used to earn very little money, very little money. All, even his parents didn't like him for that, because see, other people are doing like this, you are doing very selfless work, but what's coming in the home? And they had their own, for them simple, for them the greatest aspect would be eating non-vegetarian food on Sunday, and one day and he is not having money one day to even buy that food. So it was a very sad plight in his house that way. But I've seen how much, this much money, whatever he is earning, he would work extra hours after work also and make the home run. And I was seeing the joy, because I had a chance to visit his home every day for some, we would do some training. That time I would go to his place in the early mornings. I would see the joy in the house which is there, that Chaitanya is there, where some other friends who are earning so much, they're earning so much, but they don't send a penny home. They don't care, they're earning so much money. Another friend, that same time, he bought a phone which was absolutely worthless that way, in terms of it did not have that much technology also, but it had a great status value. So he brought it getting EMIs for 8 months, and he lost it in 1 week. So what's the use of that money which he has earned? And here it is not going anywhere. So yes, Srinivas ji, maybe for organization Krishna can use anybody. Krishna can help that organization through anyone else, but for the person, for the donor, he has to not see what benefit he is getting in return for doing it, and he must do it in a sattvic state. He will know what is required, how much is required. So yes, Srinivasji, let us just continue, because when it is done with an expectation of return, what am I getting? Even asking for getting, trying to get a punya in return. I am doing this for getting a punya in return. I know of an auditor who wants to serve organizations so that which are selfless, so that he said, Ganga में जाके मैं तो जा नहीं सकता हूँ. I cannot go to Ganga and wash my sins. So let me do this service and let me wash these sins by, because I am doing so many other frauds. Now, how much is this going to help this Kalaya Tasmai Namaha? Karma will speak. Karma Phala is this. We do not seek Karma Phala, but the Karma theory is there. All actions that you do will have their reactions. So that is a different aspect. Maybe this is helping him retain his own honesty. It helped him take decisions to finally turn off one client who was a very corrupt person. He said, I cannot do this. I will be supporting a direct wrong in the society. This is where my consciousness. But if this consciousness also was not there, he would have gone onto the wrong path. Maybe his little act of doing something, for us it may be insignificant, but for that person at least that was an important aspect. So yes, that is sattvic. This is, now next is rajasic, where that is rajasic tapa, rajasic dana. अदेश काले यद्दानम अपात्रेभ्यश्च दीयते असत्कृतम अवज्ञातम तत्तामसम उदाहृतम. A gift of charity in tamas is said to be done. A gift of charity in tamas is said to be one when, ignoring the time, place, and object, it is done to the receiver's emotions without showing any empathy, with ill will and despise. I'm sorry, we did not look at Rajasic. Yes, we directly jump to the tamas. Yes, so I'll go to 21st shloka. Yes, please. यत्तु प्रत्युपकारार्थं फलमुद्दिश्य वा पुनः दीयते च परिक्लिष्टं तद्दानं राजसंस्मृतम्. A donation in rajas is said to be effected when unwillingly or with ego it is executed, with the hopes of returns. is its initiation itself and causes violence or harm to oneself. The Rajasic donation can cause harm also is a danger. This people do not realize. Many times ATG exemption is there, so to save tax people do donations. This is not because of the intention of doing donation. It is just I need to save this much tax, so let me find some place. One person got black money in our village. He could not do anything with it. He thought he will let me at least use it for lifting my social status. So what he did was he did a kind of big function he organized, and he did some works, and he tried to show how wealthy he is. I thought that was a good thing. Ultimately, what happened was it gave a signal that this man has got a lot of wealth. Thieves actually came to his home trying to steal. They did not find anything, is a different story. But what has happened? His Rajasic actions, whichever donation he has done with a Rajasic nature, has brought harm to himself. This is a danger. We do not know all the harms that can come from Rajasic action. It's a force. Many times people use money also as a force and they use it for manipulating. Donations are also done to control organizations. I need to have a say. I am donating so much this organization. That means I will decide the policy of organization. Small NGOs sometimes have this trouble also where donors suddenly start interfering in the policies, functioning, and it's actually then they wonder why did we take this donation or what can be done. How can we accept it? What should we do? Because the spirit of the work is lost because of this Rajasic force, Rajasic action. There was one, my mother had actually visited a yogi and one in an ashram. There she saw that how one young child was coming and playing and sitting on the lap of the yogi, and he was very playfully speaking to her, everything. Suddenly her parents came, and then the child got up and went, and then the mother says to, what, you are allowing my child, you're giving so much love to her and you're treating her so much. For us you are not giving anything like that. What is this? I don't like. She was playing playfully. But the dialogue that he told her, she said it was very painful for me to hear. He just looked at her, he paused for a minute and he said, आप तो हमें हमारा हमारे पालन करता हो, आप तो हमारे पालन करता हो, मैं आपको कैसे बैठाऊं यहाँ पे. Meaning he was not saying he was just, it was a double worded statement where he's saying you are taking, you have got such an ahankar that you feel you are raising me. How can I give you Ashirwad which I can give to this child whose consciousness is so pure? I'll give Ashirwad to her, you I cannot. He is bound there. That is what we see so many times. These Rajasic actions, Rajasic forces, you are like people try to bind another person, even in donation. You must do this, I have done this for you. Okay, it's not possible, but this is Rajas, it causes harm to the individual also. This is Rajasic. But what about Tamasic? This is the third type. Again, we saw this. Adeshe kale yaddanam apatrebhyascha diyate asatkrutam avagnatam tat tamasam udahratam. A gift of charity in tamas is said to be done when ignoring the time, place, and object it is done. It's basically the opposite of what is sattva. Most of the times, tamas is exactly opposite of sattva only. The desha kala patra. A poor farmer comes and asks for seeds. What the person says, no, I don't have seeds, I will not give you. And then rainy season is there. That time you give seeds to that farmer. What is the use? The seeds must be given at that time when they can be sown, is it not? So what does this do? When you say, I gave you the seeds now, here, take. This time I'll give it to you free. That time you were asking for a discount, it's all right. But what's the use now? This is of no use at this moment, meaning that the moment that is the patra, the kala, all of that is now lost. Or sometimes somebody requires donation, you don't give anything to that person. And somebody else who does not require, you say, you give it so much. What's the use? Sometimes there is an intention to hurt a person. A donation is done to show what you do not have. Or donation is, see, I have so much money, because of this you are only, look at you, how insignificant you are. But that is a type of donation which is tamasic, which is again not worthy of being a donation at all, is what Krishna is saying. There are people who do that. Probably this has been happening from times immemorial, because Krishna is saying this in his scripture also. This is the tamasic one, showing no empathy to the, it's like in an NGO, the founder is no more, and you go and distribute sweets on that particular day. Here, enjoy, have sweets. What is the use of that? Is that of any, is it sensitive or is it absolutely insensitive? Yes, what do you say of such a donation? Is tamas, what is your opinion, anybody, of tamasic dana? Yes, please.
it is not serving any purpose. I mean,
Better not done, is it not?
not done. Yeah, it's like वो एक हिंदी में कहावत है ना,
हाँ
दूध देना और मक्खी डाल के देना.
हाँ दूध देना मक्खी डाल के. Okay, yes, it's like you're giving. Yes, it is something like that. Donation which is given. It's like sometimes giving cattle, giving cows, which are not capable of even producing milk. So raising the cow is more difficult for an individual. And in villages, sometimes people sell cows also to each other, and sometimes here I'll give it to you freely. Now, what is this person going to do? Is have to, the expenditure is so much that he's not able to take care. It's like giving a white elephant. How is a person going to raise? This is tamas. This is another type. This is what we can say that tamas is a kind of a vikara. One of the vikaras of prakriti is there, where tamasic aspects they govern everything. And we have seen these three gunas. Well, they are not leaving us. Every action is also being
Can we
governed.
say like that? Like if suppose somebody is giving something, let's say I receive something from someone, but I am not in that capacity to handle that. Is it like that the other person who's giving me something is putting so much pressure on me also that
The
I'm
intention is important, no, Deepti ji. If the intention is good, then
mm,
there is no problem.
no, the intention, I mean, I'm saying the intention is not good. Like the other
Intention is
person
not
is,
good. It is not
because then
worth.
he or she
We
is
should
trying to just
refuse. You should
pressurize
refuse.
me.
Actually, this is not divine. Such a
Mm.
tamasic donation is not divine. We can refuse it also altogether. There is no need to accept it. You are going to bring a liability in yourself while accepting it. It can be refused. And then the giver is already somebody else. He arranges things. So many organizations I've seen. I've had a good fortune of visiting different NGOs. I have seen how at times when materially nothing is possible and still suddenly have something happens. Someone comes from somewhere and helps. It's like how divine works. And this is an experience. People I have seen in most of these NGOs, they are all having a theistic perspective, though they believe in different devas. They are all saying he comes, he takes care because I am doing this selflessly and I have watched it. He says, and he keeps one person, an old man who started a auto driver who started an old age home for people. He has explained to me how different times. He said there's no food also in to give people, and suddenly from nowhere people come and it is something. One person said one day I was sure nothing is going to work. Now I was feeling sad. He said. Suddenly one person came, it was my father's wish that I do this and I have not been able to do it. Today I must do it. I have already delayed it too long. I just remembered you and I have to do it. In next 15 days he didn't have to worry about anything. How it happened? It was just at that point. And he says it happens every month. Every month when the bills have to be paid, there's no money inside to pay the bills. Suddenly somewhere it comes and it happens. And he's been going on for years. So this is there. So if you are in a position where you are in a situation where you are requiring a support and a dana is to come, do not take a tamasic dana. If you are conscious, well, you can very humbly refuse also. Humbly, we keep our vani, vak tapasya should not be lost because tamasic is a problem. Rajasic can help somewhere, at least it will have a short term movement. It will not help too long. Rajasic is unstable. Sattvic is going to be, you get a drop also, it will become an ocean for you. It is like Akshay Patra only. Just one drop is sufficient. It will bring about a great transformation. So these are the three danas. Now, just like these three
Thank you.
danas, yes, Srinivas, you want to share something? All right, yes, please.
This Angadan, that is organ donation,
Okay, ji.
that helps the soul of the disease.
It helps the person who is not dead only. Definitely. Is it not? Whether or not prayana kala, after prayana kala, whether the person gets moksha or not. I personally have already registered for organ donation. If tomorrow or even today while I'm traveling something happens, I have already declared yes. Because whether or not I get a moksha is a different thing on somebody else on this Prithvi Loka. It is my opinion. That is a decision which different people can take. But it is always because if you see so many people and sometimes just retina is required for so many people and because of not absence of retina people cannot see and it has to be done at a correct time. It has to be removed at very early time and for many times people have an intention but they have never done a research. So they call the doctors come and then it's too late. That is now it cannot be used. It cannot be used for study also. Then what's the use? So yes, and then if you see there are some yogis who does the Shraddha Kriyas of the yogis in the jungles when they pass away. In Buddhist, there's a practice of actually putting the body onto the mountains for vultures to come and eat. They become one with the atmosphere. So yes, there are different practices. Yogis, Mahasiddha Purushas, we can have samadhis of them, but then everybody may be not required. That is just a personal opinion. This is not in Gita. Much has not been said, but Krishna has told Loka Sangraha. So if Loka Sangraha is happening, and Krishna has not said anywhere that in the 8th Adhyaya it covers the death and soul journey. He does not say that if your eyes have been donated, I will not take you across. That is not there. So it need not. There's nothing about that which has been told. It is about the consciousness of the individual. Ultimately, Sharira is going to be burnt. It is going to. Yes, please. Hari Om,
See,
Dr. Pushpaji. Yes, please.
because of the wrong people, sometimes that right people who are all having the right sense are to be refused for donation. Is it the fault of donor or the
Uh,
society like that?
no, somewhere it is because instead of looking at it, because then another question would come is if I give eyes to one person, that person does wrong thing. Because ultimately the divine will is functioning over everything. If you look at it on a very lowermost scale, yes, but it was ignorance. It was a little bit of tamas, where children felt parents know it should not be done. Because then they refuse the wish also of the person. But that does not mean if the person was a brilliant man, his forward journey is going to stop because one asha was left incomplete. That is not what we need to worry about, Dr. Pushpaji, because ultimately everything happens according to divine will. What we see on the outside, it's like Krishna says, he is the Bijam Avyayam, he governs even tamas also. Behind tamas, he makes a tamasic person do something ultimately. What happens is, yes, Steve, one need not worry about that too much if it has happened, because sometimes then we carry the guilt for no reason. I did not do something. It is all right. We just you can actually let go of that. You can try your best sincerely. That is all Krishna has told, is it not? Patram
Yeah.
pushpam phalam toyam, with shraddha, with sincerity.
Mm.
Yes, Ji.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ji. Hari Om. Hari Om. So now this everywhere number three with his three things. It's like a trinity of Rajas, Tamas, Sattva. Ayurveda says Kapha, Vata, Pitta. We know Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh. So many Ida, Pingala, Sushumna. So many trinity is there. Like that, in Krishna has talked about triple types of actions, triple types of tapa, triple types of dana, triple types of yajna. Now comes a triple mantra which Krishna is giving. So this is the only mantra which Krishna is giving, mantra diksha himself in the Bhagavad Gita. If we do not have the mantra diksha is so important because we get a mantra from the Guru. It becomes a protected mantra, Guru mantra which protects us. Mannana trayati iti mantra, or it is something which protects by repetition also. Or how does a mantra protect? It is just a word, is it not? But the word has a power, and that is what mantra is. Even in other languages, mantras can exist. Why does it have to be only in one language? If it is bringing about a transformation, and here Krishna is revealing a mantra here. Let us see what it is. Om Tat Sat iti nirdesho brahmanas trividha smrutah brahmanastena vedascha yajnascha vihitah pura. Many aeons ago, this triple formula was conceived. By the same sacrifice, the Vedic knowledge was received. The mantra Om Tat Sat, with Om, the primordial syllable, Tat, the eternal Brahman, Sat, the highest truth cognizable. So, Om Tat Sat is one mantra which Krishna is revealing to all of us. We say Krishnam Vande Jagat Gurum, so our Guru has given us a mantra here right now. Krishna himself has declared to Arjuna as this mantra, Om Tat Sat. Sri Aurobindo Upanishad also we see the same Om Tat Sat Yaccha Satchidevam Tat Chinmaya Tad Anandamayo Nadyantaha Sanatano Bhagwan. Means this is that Om Tat Sat. Now how does one understand this? Krishna is saying this is the triple mantra. With this mantra, the Vedic wisdom was received. Many times mantras are not just uttered, these are mantras which are to be heard. Mantra is that which is heard by Shruti. And this there is a dhvani is there. Many people have actually experienced. They have heard mantras from somewhere. And how is it? Well, it is a different state of consciousness, a different state of perception. And Krishna says these yogis, they reached that state and then they heard this mantra, and that was how the Vedic wisdom was received. Now, this may not seem very logical if we look at it in a very rational way. But speaking of rational mathematics, also, if you see algebra, in algebra, what is the meaning of x, y, z? Anybody? when we use X, Y, Z?
The unknown numbers.
Is it not? So, but is it of no? Then if it is unknown, what is the use of using all of these unknowns? These are variables,
To
is it not?
find the known, to find something.
To find the known. So, where can we use X? Is it for objects only, or X can be used for something else? Or what is this when we use this? Who defines it?
For anything that we want to find a
Anything.
value
The
to.
mathematician who is trying to solve the problem
So
gives the
find
value.
a value to that. Yeah.
Yes, is it not? So means X can mean anything. X can be number of people, or X can be a type of a particular variable denoting buildings also. X can be apples also. X can be human beings also, depending on what we are assigning it. Is it not? So here, these Sanskrit mantras, they have their chants, they have their frequencies, which have been studied by physicists also. But this mantra, Om Tat Sat, this triple mantra has a different meaning, just like these variables. Om, what is Om referring to? Krishna is saying, Om we have heard before also. The first syllable, Shabda Brahma. Om is that. That is the first syllable, the syllable of creation. Tat. Tat refers to what? The Supreme Brahman. Means using Tat as a representative for connecting with the Supreme Brahman. Tat. And Sat. Sat is that, the root of Satya. From truth consciousness, ultimately that is being related to with Sat. So with this triple mantra, why we have these symbols? Why do we have all of these? Because they form our link to a connection, and these yogis use this to connect with the cosmic divine. Om Tat and Sat. In the Vedas, Sat is so deep. As you go deeper and deeper, it becomes wider and wider. Satyam Rutam Bruhat, it's a trinity. Sat Chid Ananda, just like that. Your consciousness enters with Satya and you experience Ananda. Or it is Satya is that which is the righteous truth which goes on bursting, expanding like the vast skies. So this is the third. Om Tat Sat is the mantra. Let us see further what Krishna says. He even explains it to us. Tasmadom iti udahritya yagyadana tapah kriyaha pravartante vidhanoktaha satatam brahma vadinam. That is why the knowers of Vedic sciences chant and meditate, and all their sacrifices, offerings, and actions with Om they initiate. By the principles of the scriptures they firmly stand, and the meanings of their procedures they understand. So those wise ones, those yogis who have understood the Vedic scriptures, they've understood their principles. Krishna says they initiate with Om. Om as the syllable. It is called the Pranavaha. Pranavaha Sarva Vedeshu, that is Omkara. Many mantras we begin with Om and end with Om, is it not? Because why is it? Why is it done? Why is the Om used in the beginning? Why is it used in the end? Well, it is a vehicle which protects the mantra from the beginning and the end also. It is a special sound, and sometimes they say the silence that comes after Om is only the most important part of the mantra. That quiet silence between two mantras, that is your meditative silence which you have to pounce upon, grab and experience it. Well, this is Om. Om is that which is understood by the Vedic seekers who have understood the science of the Veda. That is why they initiate whatever yajna they are doing. It starts Om Agni Mire Purohitam. Dana also, it is Om only. It begins with Om. So again, conscious of the divine. No chance of ahankar inside of the individual. So with Om, the Dana has also begun. Same with all their actions as well. Karma also, it starts
Even
with
the
Om.
famous Gayatri Mantra
Yes,
has Om.
yes, yes, yes. Is it not? Yes, ji. That is a pranava, bija mantra. They say that is Om. And then the Mandukya talks about the fourth dimension also of Om. So let us see further. Taditya na bhisandhaya phalam yajna tapah kriyaha dana kriyascha vividhaha kriyante mokshakankshibhi. Tat is concentrated upon profusely without seeking any fruits. It is pronounced verily by the awakened seekers of liberation during penance, offering, and sacrificial action. So, Tat is that Brahman. Tat Kim, Tat Brahmam, that is the Supreme Brahma. It is the Brahma has been related with this word of Sanskrit Tat. With Tat, you can connect with that Brahman. These awakened ones, they pronounce it without, they don't seek any fruits, no fruitive aspirations, and they do all their tapasya, yajna also, and all their dana. This is a very important aspect. We see the same repetition of the concept of second adhyaya everywhere in the Gita. We are now almost in the end, towards the end of the Gita, and Krishna is just telling, see, Prakriti is going to make you always seek for actions. With sadhana, you will have to prevent yourself from falling in Prakriti's trap and always ask for results or rewards. Keep them aside, go on with your action, you will be free. So this is the yogi's way also, even whether they are doing their penance, whether they are doing an offering, whether they are doing any sacrificial action. Sat. Sadbhave sadhubhave च सद इत्येतत् प्रयुज्यते प्रशस्ते कर्मणि तथा सत् शब्दः पार्थयुज्यते. Sat is the all-pervading goodness in existence and is the ultimate truth's significance. O Arjuna, the word Sat is also used to define the best amongst existences, supremely divine. Sat is something which is connecting you to the divinity, the beautiful aspect of life, all that is pure, all that is perfect. That is your representative of Sat. Krishna, while giving Vibhuti Darshana, talking about the various Vibhutis, concluded to Arjuna, saying that Arjuna, what is your need to know all the different aspects? Just understand, connect with me, you will connect with all. Well, this Sat can describe all the Vibhutis that Krishna has described to Arjuna and has not yet described also is for us to realize. All that can be connected with Sat. I remember growing up, there was a cartoon character who could summon the spirits of all the people in the world to help save the world. It was something like when that person would call upon the spirit and then get all the energies from the plants, from the trees, from the individuals, and consciously a small portion. Something like that. When you meditate upon Sat, you are going to meditate upon all that is beautiful in life, all that is perfect, all that is wonderful, and probably draw that source of inspiration in your life and channel it. So that is Sat. It is describing all that is perfect and pure, which makes life a real miracle and blessing, absolutely divine. That is what Sat is. All the things that are bright, all beautiful, all creatures, whether great or small, everything, that can be connected with Sat. So these are the three mantras. Krishna is saying, Yagne tapasi dane cha sthita saditi chochate karma chaiva tadarthiyam sadetyeva vidhiyate. In penance, sacrifice and offering, he who is firm, such a being's actions are in Sat, one can affirm. Holding a fundamental view and doing the right actions, performing austerities, sacrificial offerings and oblations. When somebody who has understood the principle of doing a yajna, whether it is a dana, whether it is a tapa, is gone into the garbha of the action, is gone deeper into it and is able to understand. This is why Gita is not, why they say Gita Shastram Idam Punyam, and in the one of the Dhyana mantras is about Gita being the ultimate Punya Shastra, meaning studying the Gita will help you. And after our study, I would say anybody pick up any other Shastra if you want. You will find the principles of Gita being resonated there because it is the same truth. Pendite Brahmandi. What is there in the microcosm is just a small representation of what is there everywhere else. And the same thing Krishna is saying, when you enter into that consciousness while doing yajna, whether you're doing dana, whether you're doing tapa, you will perfectly understand. You will perfectly understand. Your actions will automatically get aligned to what is the right aspect. Scriptures will confirm what you have understood. Scriptures will be a stamp, will just bear a stamp of what you have understood. I remember one time Damliji, when he was young, his guru was Nana Maharaj Saranekar. He is considered to be one of the avatars of Datta of Indore. So there he had done a particular, he wanted to do a particular continuous Purashran. But the problem was in his japa he could not complete it and he tried his best and finally he did it was quite a long I would not go into the full details, but he could not complete it and he felt very sad. He went to his guru and he went to his guru's feet and he said, my Purushan did not get complete. And that time his guru just said, no, 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 it is complete, it is complete. He touched his head and told him. He was young and he immediately did not first understand, but his guru has said so, he accepted. And suddenly he remembered a particular shastra saying that when you are sitting under the Audumbar Ruksha, one mantra is equal to this much. When it is by the side of a river like this, I think it was Narmada probably, by that river, I'm not sure it was Narmada. It was, I'm not, I think it was Narmada. I'm not sure what was the river. But when it is by a side of sacred river, there is another calculation of one mantra being equal to this much. And suddenly, what his guru's words, he suddenly was seeing in the scripture, and it was, he did not open the book, but he remembered reading it only after his guru touched his hand and told him, yours is complete. So what has happened here? He had done with the right intention, despite having some physical difficulties and ailment also. He wanted to complete it, but he could not complete, and he felt very sad. Sincerely, he goes there, and then he understands that it has got complete only. And it is not that he is trying to find a calculation or accounting. He does not care about that. But this came to him. So many times, scriptures will confirm, because they are also by whom? By rishis, who were human like us. Only they raise their consciousness to such a high level that we feel we are nothing compared to those rishis now. But we do not realize our genes are the same. We are carrying the same genetic makeup inside of us. Everybody who is living and dwelling in this planet, or even on the earth also, if not just Bharat Rashtra, we are all descendants of that divinity. So this divinity, if we connect, Krishna is saying, automatically you are doing it in the right principle. You have understood what you are doing. You are confident. That time you are going to be doing according to that scripture only, is what he says. But then the last shloka, what happens without Shraddha? Ashraddhaya hutam dattam tapastaptam krutam chayat asat iti uchyate partha nachatat prapye no iha. Now this is the problem. What happens with doubts? Doubts is the biggest what we can say curse for human beings. Imagine having a relationship with someone and being having doubts. What will happen in that relationship? Can it be sustained for too long, or will it be a joyful relationship? Why is it not? Anybody?
Because if there are doubts, there are frictions, there is no trust,
There's
there
no
is no,
trust.
and there's lack of love, there is lack of everything because
Yes,
of that
one
uh,
aspect, is it not?
one aspect.
And doubts spoil everything.
Yeah.
Same is the case with
There's
Shraddha.
no there'll not be acceptance of that person as a person.
Yes, for
Complete
example, now,
acceptance.
yes, if I say there's a tree inside of my hand, what would you say? I'm being a fool, is it not? Can there be a tree inside of my hand?
No.
Okay, but then now if I were to just open my hand and show you there's a seed inside of this hand, which is
Hmm.
later going to be a tree, what will you say?
Yeah, of
So
course.
if somebody is wanting to logically see, first, no, this person is a fool. He's speaking all nonsense. How can a tree be inside? My logic does not allow tree to remain inside. But now when you understand and see, yes, there's a seed and this seed could become the tree, then you are like, ah, yes, now I understand. Meaning, what logic is now, logic is changing. Logic is changing. Opinion is changing. But if there is faith, sometimes the student goes and asks the teacher. I remember in school, our teacher would teach a particular theorem. One smart person had already done the syllabus before. So he was somebody who had gone to extra tuitions and he wanted to be on top of everybody else. So he would always keep talking. This sir is a fool. He doesn't know properly. He's doing like this. No, no, he's doing wrong. So ultimately, I got irritated. I told him, please stop. You have understood. However, he is. I am learning from him. Let me learn from him, is what I asked. And later on, what I found out was he was doing wrong, and the way which he said was his was a different way, but it was going wrong, and he could not correct it because he was going in that direction. Then he too had to come in the same way what theorem was being taught. Otherwise, he would have got lost there. So the simple aspect of Shraddha,
And like we
yeah,
take the example of kids also, when as parents we tell to kids, have trust,
yes,
Vishwas karo hum pe. So if I mean, that's
yes,
what child does, right? And then he believes and there's a blind trust. They say, okay, whatever my parents are going to do is going to be right for me. Even if they're scolding,
yes.
still the child doesn't resist that or doesn't, I mean,
They
doesn't become
understand
rebellion
because
of that.
because when Shraddha is there, when Shraddha is not there, then it does not work, is it not?
Yes.
It does not work if Shraddha is not there. For Shraddha also to be established, there are actions, there are steps. So, but doubts are the problem for an individual. From the beginning of the Gita, we have seen that Arjuna, the hero, has become zero because of his doubts. He's lost everything. And then when Krishna keeps on saying things, he's like, no, I don't agree, Krishna, what is this? How can I believe you? What is there? Yat Shreyaha. What is Shreya? What is Shreya? Tell me what's profitable. What is good to my mind? I don't understand. You're confusing me. You are wrong. All this went on, and so we see, but you see how slow transformation also takes place. And because transformation takes place, Krishna could give. If Arjuna did not have any trust in Krishna, Krishna would not have spoken an extra word. He would never have felt like speaking even one extra shloka. It would have been over already. Duryodhana did not receive. Arjuna is lucky. Arjuna has Shraddha, which is helping him. If Arjuna doesn't have it, it's just going to fall on this year, go away, and he's not going to be an instrument of the divine. Krishna has already said, Arjuna, I am not dependent on you at all. I can get another Arjuna in this battlefield. So many heroes are there. I can choose anyone. So you are not indispensable, but let Shraddha teach you to surrender to the divine. So here Krishna says penance, charity and sacrifice by the beings ill-informed. O Arjuna, without faith when they are performed, they are termed asat and detriment the soul's progress. And neither in this nor the next world do they bring success. The last line is very beautiful. He says, Asad iti uchyate partha nachat pretya no iha. Not in the next world, not in this world. Success is not possible because if you don't have if you don't have faith, what are you going to get? If not here also, where Ihaiva Krishna is always saying, Ihaiva Tairjita Sargo, what heaven are you searching for? Arjuna, what fear of hell you are taking after death? Life of your life only is going to become hell if you are going to have these triple gates what Krishna talked about already. Kama, Krodha, Lobha, all these things, these are bringing entire hell into your life. Like that, Krishna says, somebody who has got doubts, he will not get anything in this world, and not in this world, and which other world is he going to get anything without Shraddha? So for existence, again, the Gita again comes back to that same core principle of Shraddha. This Adhyaya began with Shraddha, question of Shraddha, it ends with Shraddha. Absence of Shraddha is a great vulnerability of an individual.
Hari Om.
Hari Om Ji, Hari Om. So with this, we are concluding the Adhyaya. I'll conclude with the Shanti Mantra. If anybody has any questions, we'll look at it. After which we are ready to enter into what is the 18th Adhyaya of the Gita. Hari Om. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayah, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kasyat dukkha bhag bhavet. Hari Om Tat Sat. Krishna Vande Jagadguru. Om Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. So 18th Adhyaya is actually the longest Adhyaya of the Gita. It is equal to almost 2-3 Adhyayas together. So we may require up to 3 days. So we'll just see how we can try to complete it. Yes, please. Anybody has any queries? Most welcome.
I want to share something.
Okay.
I read a story about consciousness. So there was a monk who went to his guru and he said, I have been doing meditation for 20 years, but I'm not finding that peace which I'm seeking. So his guru did not say anything. He said, okay, tell me one thing. When you entered, you took off your slippers. He said, yes. He said, which side? The left side, the right side, the center, and how was the position of the slippers? He said, what are you asking me? So he said, I'm asking you, where did you keep your slippers? So he was just recalling. Then he said left, right. So he was all confused. So his guru said that when you're taking off your slippers, you do not know how and where you're positioning it and which direction. Then I mean, all these 20 years, that means you have not been conscious enough of, and then how will you achieve that? So then that was a very, very eye-opening moment for that. And he was thinking that it's all waste. But then the guru said, no, it's not waste. But yes, the lesson that you have to learn in this 20 years is that bring your consciousness.
Cultivate
Just
consciousness.
cultivate
Yes.
consciousness. Don't just think that I am just sitting in a particular sadhana mode and I'm doing it. That is not sadhana for you.
Ji. All right, Deepti ji. Ji ji. Yes. Hari Om. Thank you. Hari Om ji.
Hari Om.
Hari Om. Hari Om ji. Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Hari Om ji. Hari Om.
Hari Om ji.
Sushil
Hari
ji,
Om. Hari Om. Yes, Srinivas ji. Hari Om ji.
I
Yes.
have a doubt.
Ji sir.
These two words, Sat and Sad,
Hmm.
whether
Okay.
they mean the same, and
Yes,
whether
yes.
Sat is Satya.
Yes, Sat is a root word from which Satya is established. When in Sadbhave, Sadhubhave, it is where the same root word Sat only is becoming Sad when we are doing a Sandhi. So Sat and
Yeah,
Sad are the
this
same.
Sat Buddhi,
Huh.
Sat Buddhi,
Sat,
and
if
a
you
Sat
split
Sat,
it.
Sat Sat Vivek Buddhi.
Yes, no, Sat Buddhi, if you just split it in Sanskrit, the Ta becomes the when you are joining it with one more word. Sat plus Buddhi, Sat Buddhi. So that is just it is the same word, and Satya is probably derived from the root word of Sat. So it is something, even Satya is the root, having root in Sat. It is in that truth consciousness. And that is why it is like Satyam, Rutam, Bruhat. It is a very deep aspect, and as you go closer and closer, things become more and more clearer and deeper as well. That is truth. Truth is not something which is just pinpointed. It keeps on. It is like the universe only. Universe is expanding. Something like that. Truth is also that wide and vast. जी जी.
Hariom.
हरिओम जी हरिओम हरिओम
हरिओम
हरिओम जी हरिओम 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 जी हरिओम भामा जी.
धन्यवाद.
ये जी.
You mentioned about some program supported by Department of Biotechnology.
Yes, Bhama ji.
What is that?
Vedic Chants Intervention Program. It is a name which the scientists have given to our Vedic mantras, which we had done a study on the effect of Vedic chants on children with autism. And so it was basically, I am a mechanical engineer with no connection with research that way. But the school had a very wonderful psychologist who taught me research methodology from scratch and over a period of 6 months. So in 2012, we did a study, but then we were an NGO, so our study is of no scientific use because it is not done as per the an educational institute does it. It is always better. So then in a Sanskrit conference, I met one researcher from genetics. It was in 2013 from Madras University, and this researcher replicated the same study. It got published, and in the conference it was awarded also best therapeutics as a free therapy for children with autism as a group therapy. A lot of paid therapies exist which are not effective also for I mean, they are not effective, but they charge a lot to parents, especially from the poor families. It becomes difficult, and this is something which is a free one, which is again our ancient one only. We don't have to. It is easily possible, and we have seen very nice changes when we interact with children. And then this department of genetics person later on left the department, but before that he applied for a project, and that got sanctioned in 2014 actually. And since then that project has moved now to Department of Neurology, JIPMER, and they are doing still baseline data gathering. Corona came again, it has got delayed, but some work is going on. But it is, they have given the name VCIP, called Vedic Chants Intervention Program. So that is going, but in some villages, like one more village is there, Srishti village. In that village, they are playing these chants, and they have watched very nice behavioral changes just by listening. Means we're not asking them to repeat it also. So Sanskrit mantras, they are therapeutic aspect. We have actually studied these. They did a hormonal profiling also of the children in Madras University. Serotonin and melatonin, both these hormones, there were changes, and we are trying to standardize it as a free therapy for people. If it works out, it would again. Namleji says, "Neki kar darya mein dal." It happens. It is good. If it not, it is all right. Yes, ji. You are connected somewhere, ji, with Department of Bio.
My husband, Dr. Ramchandran, was the founder secretary of Department
Oh,
of Bio.
so wonderful to know that, ji.
Yeah.
Ji, ji,
So
ji.
that's why I'm
Oh,
interested
ji,
in
ji, ji.
anything that you mentioned.
जी जी जी,
Thanks.
so nice to know that.
Thanks.
Hari Om ji.
Okay.
Hari Om, Hari Om. Thank you. Hari Om.
Very nice of you, ji.
जी जी, thank you जी. Hari Om. Guru Krupa ji, just yes जी. Hari Om जी.
ధన్యవాదాలు.
धन्यवाद जी. Hari Om जी. Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Hari Om जी. Hari Om.